So you go to, so once you install it by default, since it's a new installation, it's going to prompt you to install a Unity version. You can skip that, and then just come to this installs location. Then you see install editor right here. So you click on install editor. So once you click install editor, you are going to choose the appropriate version. So in our case, the LTS version of Unity 6. So this one will work just fine. So this is the LTS, the one that has the long-term support. So you click install. Once you click install, it takes you to this window. So on this window, you have like other modules that you're going to install with the engine. So the first one is the IDE, the integrated development environment that you're going to use to uh, write your codes in the coding aspects of the development. So you're also going to use it to install necessary packages that you need to compile your project, to build your project. So ensure you install. So the recommended one is Microsoft Visual Studio. So I've already installed it here. That's why it's grayed out. It's not showing a checkbox. But if you haven't installed it, just just you know that you're going to have to install it. Depending on the strength of your internet connection, um, if your internet connection is fast, then you can just check, all the various things that you need to install. Check this Microsoft Visual Studio, development tool. You check it. Then, if if you want to build like standalone to the headsets, like building your app to the headsets directly, check this Android as well. So it's going to automatically check the two tools under it. Then those are the main things that you need to install. So, but if then you can click continue. If your internet is not so great, so you just keep this development tool. Just don't check anything for now. Just install only the editor. So once you install the editor, you can then come back to install this. All right. So once you click install, you're going to see the download. No, it's going to start the download right here, and then it's going to install. So once the installation is done, then it's going to appear here. So I have like different versions of Unity here, so you can install multiple versions, but side by side without issues. So, but in this case, you are just installing the one. So once you have your editor installed, then you can, ensure you're in under installs, then come to manage. Once you click on manage, you're going to click on add modules. So you click on add modules. So it's going to show you that initial page that the window that we had before. So if you haven't installed the necessary modules, just check them, then install them now. But I already have everything installed, so I'm good to go. So again, the modules you need are the Visual Studio IDE, but if you have another IDE, it's also fine. Like Rider from JetBrains is also a good IDE. Then ensure you install the Android build support so that you can build, directly to the headset. Otherwise, you would only be able to like build for Windows. So that means your headset has to be connected. By headset, I mean the Meta Quest headsets I think you'll be using. So it has to be connected if you are running it in a tethered mode. All right. So that's it for the installation of Unity Org and Unity. So after installing, we're going to create our, project. So, okay, I think I should go over another small detail. So for this Visual Studio, if you're using Visual Studio, so you also need to do a bit of installation by the side. So let me just see. So once your Visual Studio is installing, it's going to show a pop-up that will give you this Visual Studio installer so that you can install the appropriate Visual Studio. So there are some things you need to install as well. I'm going to show you that once things are ready here. This is taking over. Okay, great. So this is already installed, but before you on your own end, if you are just starting the installation, it's going to prompt you to choose a version. Just ensure you choose the Visual Studio Community 2022. So this is the free version, so the community version. Then you are going to have something like this. So you're going to have something like this. So it's going to ask you to choose the necessary things you need to install so that you can have Unity working properly. So the things you need to select are these. So you need to select this .NET desktop development. You need to select this, and you scroll down a bit, then you need to select this as well. Game development with Unity. So you need to check the two of them. So once you check the two of them, then you can install them, download and install, and run your application and run it's going to like start the download in the background, I mean, and install them as well. All right. So once all that is done, then you're good to go. So you come back to the Unity Hub, then you click New Projects. So again, come to this, you click on New Project. So if you have multiple versions of Unity installed, you'll be able to choose the appropriate version here, this editor version. So I'm using the Unity 6, the 54 LTS. All right. So the next thing is to select the appropriate template. So there are a few templates that are already provided, in Unity. So for, Unity, like I mentioned on Tuesday, Unity is a very versatile tool that can be used for building different things. It's a game engine. So one of the things you can use it for is to build VR applications, MR applications. So for our purpose, we want to a 3D template, not 2D, since VR is 3D. So there are a few 3D templates. So I'll just choose the most versatile one, which is this universal 3D. Yeah. So it's also called the URP. It uses the URP pipeline. So ensure that is selected. You might need to download it if it's not downloaded already. So for example, there are a few templates like this 3D mobile templates that we have right here is not downloaded yet. Like if I want to use it, so I need to download the template first before I can use it. But this is already downloaded. The one that I want to use is already downloaded, so I can just select it, then uh, choose my projects. I'm creating the project locally, not with any cloud connection. Then I'll choose an appropriate name. So we'll just do VR workshop. So VR workshop. So you just choose an appropriate name for your project, so depending on what your team wants to build. And then you choose the location as well. So you so you choose the appropriate location also. Then you click create project. So Unity is going to do its thing. It's going to initialize everything that needs to initialize and also install some necessary packages that it needs to run your project. So you might need to be connected to the internet, for this process so it doesn't fail. So the remember the environment that I want to show you is a VR environment. So uh, once this is done, I'm going to show you all the necessary things, how to go about installing the necessary packages to ensure we can build for VR. So we are still waiting on Unity to finish creating the new project. While we wait for that, another important software that you need to install is this MetaQuest link. So the MetaQuest link is very important for you to be able to test your projects on your VR headset, on your Quest headsets as you are building in Unity. Um, so you will need to download it. So you go to the website and download MetaQuest link. So you download it here. So something about the PC requirements for those that were curious about the PC requirements, you can check here. So for you to be able to use the headsets with your laptop, your graphics card needs to support the various drivers that the software uses. So there are some minimum specifications and there's a recommended spec. So we're just going to look at the minimum specifications, which is an Intel i5, 4590 or AMD Ryzen 5. That's for the processor. The graphics card, you see the table below. 8 gigs of RAM is recommended, then Windows 10 and Windows 11. You also need the USB port so you can plug the headsets to use the link mode as the name implies. So for the GPUs, so these are the GPUs. You can see the supported GPUs, so you can check, you know, these are the supported ones. These one that are not supported. The same thing for AMD. So just ensure to just enjoy the development process is better to have a graphics card that supports the link. So this is uh yeah, these are the requirements. So I already have the Quest link installed. We're going to have something like this. We're going to have something like this. And when you connect the devices, it will help keep track of, the device connection to the computer. In the Quest link, the setting that you will need to do um, is right here. So you have your go to the setting on MetaQuest link, then go to general. So ensure that you set MetaQuest link as a active OpenXR runtime. I've already done that. That is why this button is grayed out. So the other thing is to go to this beta tab. So to be able to use the features, to be able to test properly, you need to enable some things. So these developer runtime features, you need to enable it so that you can test your uh, projects as you're building in Unity. There are some other features that you need to enable for you to be able to use them over the Quest link, like pass-through if you're using the mixed reality feature. There's eye tracking if you want to be able to use it over a link. So just various things. So you just need to ensure you have them enabled here so that you can actually use them when you are building in Unity. So that's it for MetaQuest link installation. So Unity is still uh, finishing the project creation process. Okay, so it seems like it's done. So the first time it takes, a while. Okay, so this is the Unity window. This is how it looks. So here you have your the various this is the user interface of Unity. So here you have the scene view. So you have the hierarchy here. The scene view is the 3D space where you see what your project is going to look like. It's like a preview of the final product. So you have it here. So like it's like the staging area where you put all things together, where you build out the stage for your project. And the hierarchy on this left-hand side here shows the list of the contents that are actually inside this scene view. So you have the main camera by default. So you have the directional lights, you have the global volume. So all these are all in the scene. So you can see once you click on one of them, can either select them here or here. So it's the same. So when you select the objects, then you have on the right hand side, you have like the inspector panel, which shows more information about the selected objects. So we can tweak the contains information like the transform, that's the position, rotation, and scale, which you can adjust. It has a light component that indicates that you can also adjust since this is a directional light. So you can adjust the various settings. Then okay, we have the game view as well. So this is the game view. What the game view does um is that what you have in your scene view is like sort of like the stage is for you to actually see how you put the things in the scene together. But the game view is for the user, the person trying out the experience to see a preview of what they will be seeing. So let me just go right again. So like the scene view is just what you have in your scene, what you are setting up. but like that's not necessarily how the person wearing the headset is going to, experience it. So the game view is how shows you the view that the user is going to see. So this buttons over here, you have the play button. The play button, you know, simulates what you have so far. Once you click on it, it's going to simulate, compile everything you are doing so far and then take it to the game view so that you can actually have the experience like the user would have the experience. So right now we haven't done anything. We just have the camera in the scene. So the player can't move. The scene is empty. So this is what everything looks like currently. So we are the one that get to build everything that is needed in the scene. All right. So let me change this. So you can play maximize whenever you play. So it maximizes the game view. But for now, I'm going to set it to focused. Yeah. All right. So then on this lower part, we have the project window, which contains, which is like a look into your file explorer, into the assets you want to use in the project. They are not in the project yet, like things here, they're not in the project yet, but you can use them in the project. The things that are here in the hierarchy, they're the ones that are actually in the scene. But the assets that you want to use in the project, you can put them here, then decide how you want to use them in the project later, or you can just have them here along with other settings. Yeah, and then you have the console. Um, if you've if you've had like previous experience programming, you have your console where you see um more information about the process you're running. If there's an error, you're going to see it in the console, warnings and things like that. So, and then at this top, you have like uh, the various menu that you can access. So we just go over the ones that we need for this project. So right now, this is just a generic 3D project. So how do we set it up for XR developments? So we want to develop a VR experience. Right now, as you can see, when I played, we can't do anything. Like it's just a static view of an empty space. That's what we can see at the moment. So I'm going to show you how to take it from this to actually being able to move around in the space. Okay, so what we're going to start with now is installing the various packages that we need to enable VR. But before I do that, let me just connect the headset so you can actually see um, part of what I'm saying in that we have an empty scene. Just hold on a moment. So I want to connect the headset so that and play based on the scene we have now. So you can see that we can't actually move, then show you why we need to actually install those packages. So Okay, just a moment, guys. Okay. So I have the headsets connected. So if I go to devices on the MetaQuest app, you can see that it has detected the headset. So the next thing I'm going to do is enable Quest link on the headset. So just enable the link mode so that whatever I'm doing, um, so that whenever I run the application in Unity, I can see it on the headset. I just got my controllers as well. Okay, so I want to pay via the Air link. Okay. All right, so I've been able to pair. So you can connect the headsets to the laptop you're developing with over the internet or with over the Wi-Fi, a common, hotspot connection or with the link cable. Right. So if we play again, like nothing happens. So yeah, because just connecting the headset physically doesn't mean um it, it will start responding in Unity. We need to enable, add the necessary requirements for it to work. All right then. So let's check the platform that we are building for. Remember, we installed the modules. That's the Android module because the headset is Android based. So to be able to build directly for the headset, Android needs to be enabled. So if it's the desktop you're building for, then that is the default option. So let's check. We'll go to File, Build Profiles. So it's currently on Windows, but we want to build for Android, so we need to switch. So can click Android, then click on Switch Platform. So it's better to do this at the beginning of your project when you don't have much in your scene, so that it's faster to switch. Because if you switch midway or towards the end, it's going to take like slightly longer. So because it needs to convert the assets to compatible into compatible forms for the um, target platform. All right, so the switch is done. Is it? Oh yeah, so it's done. Okay, okay, it's not done yet. It's still executing. Yep. Okay, so it's done now. It's done switching now. So the next thing is so if we come here, let's refresh this. Okay, okay, because it's not synced. I was expecting to see the Quest device here, but I'm guessing because it's not connected via cable, it's not able to see the Quest. So yeah, so a cable is needed for that. Okay, it has even disconnected, but no worries. We're going to reconnect when we need to do so. Yeah, let's not delay the reconnecting. All right, so the next thing is installing the necessary packages. So to install package, you go to Windows, then Package Manager, or you can just click this icon here. It's in like the newer versions of the Unity 6. But if you don't have it, you can just go to Window, then Package Manager. Then you install the necessary XR packages that you need. We want to build for VR in this case. So let's just search for XR. So before we do that, so like this is in projects, like these are the packages currently in the project. That's what it's listing here. Then we are going to the Unity registry to find these packages. So we need to click on this first. So then we'll search for XR. So it needs to retrieve them and yeah, should come up now. Great. So these are the XR packages. So the ones we need, remember from the slide, the XR plugin management, that's the first one. So it manages the XR, packages that we install into Unity. So that's why the name is called this. So you click install. So it requires internet to install as well. So you click install. So it does this thing and installs the package. Yeah, so after it installs, then it's Unity. After it downloads, then it installs the Unity recompiles some things. Okay, so it's done. The next thing, so that you can see what it's doing, let's open the project settings so you can see more of what was happening. So go to project settings. That's under edit, project settings. So you can see now we have this XR plugin management. It's because it's installed, that's why we have this. If you haven't installed it, it's going to ask you to install it first. So XR plugin management installed, yes. Then the next thing is to install is the XR interaction toolkit. Once we install this, it's also going to show up here under the XR plugin management. So click install. Okay, so it's also done. You can see now we have XR interaction toolkit here as well. Then the last one that we need is OpenXR in our case. So this is it here. So we can also install it like from here. It's easier to just check the box here and install the appropriate one. So what we're going to start with first is this XR plugin management. You can see XR plugin management is here. On the right side, you can see this like desktop icon and this Android, robot icon. So this is because we have like two build platforms. Remember from here, let me close this package manager. Remember from this file build profiles, we have Windows and we have Android. So it is because we have those installed, that's why we have these two here. So that's that. So the headset is Android based, so that's why we are we have Android installed and we want to install Android. So the next thing is like as we are building now, I'm on a Windows machine. So even though we've switched to Android, like we are still using Windows in a sense. So I'm still going to like install for both platforms here. So let's check OpenXR because that's what we want to use. So once we check it, it will start installing the packages that are needed. You can see the other options that are supported under XR plugin management. You have AR functionalities, which we are not touching. You have Oculus, that's the plugin provided by Meta. So we are using OpenXR in our case. After adding OpenXR, OpenXR is also under the plugins now, under the XR plugin management now. You can see Unity automatically took us to the project validation. So this is because there are some settings that we also need to set properly to be able to use OpenXR and XR in general. So Unity has identified those fixes that we need to make. So instead of having to memorize and make them manually, so it has provided a way for us to just do them here. So we can just click fix all. It's going to fix all the fixable ones. Oops. Yeah, so let's just do that now. So it's going to fix all the fixable ones. We are not done yet, but let's also come back to XR plugin management for the Windows as well. Let's check the OpenXR. Okay, so let's check OpenXR. So it's also going to enable. Um, then let's. So one of the things we need to do once you've added OpenXR, we need to come to OpenXR and add one of the profiles because OpenXR is can be used to develop for like any headsets. So we need to specify the ones that we want to build for so that it can ensure that the controllers, the control, the inputs on the controllers match with what we are making. So let's add the Oculus touch controller. So that works for like basic, is a like generic controller profile for Oculus based headsets like the Meta Quest. So we'll do that on both Windows and Android. All right. So we can go back to the project validation and see if there's anything left to validate. So it seems like we don't have any other thing to validate. Okay. So it seems like we might. Okay, so let's continue. So we installed the necessary packages. So now, so how do we now like implement the functionalities into this scene? Because this scene still, if we still play it, it's still we are still static in the scene. So we need to add a way to move around in VR to it. Let me check if the connection is so your Unity version, yeah, Unity 6 is fine, just the LTS version. Doesn't have to be the exact same number as mine. Doesn't have to be 54, but just ensure it's the LTS version you install. All right. So the asset is taking a while to enter into quest link mode. So like this happens sometimes. So like we saw on Tuesday, when you're developing, not everything, goes right first time. So you just have to try again. You have to try some things again. Things always like go wrong. So, yeah, so we are not going to let this delay us. So we just continue to the next aspect. So now we need to add a way to for us to move around in XR. So basically like the controller for our user or our player. So let me create a new scene. So I'll do two scenes. Like just to, uh, so there are different folders under the assets, under these assets in the project window. So the default ones are here based on the packages that we've installed. So this sample scene, this is the default ones that come with Unity. So I'll just create mine so you can see how it's done. I'm inside the scenes folder, then I can right click, create, then go to scene, then just create a default scene, name it VR lab. So let's open that. This scene also has just two basic things, main camera and directional light. So now it's still the same thing as the first sample scene with um even is a even simpler version of that. So to add the VR components to this, we can get it from the packages that we just installed. That's the controller dimension. So it's called in OpenXR, it's called an XR rig. So the XR rig, that's what basically stands in as the player, as the user in the experience. So we need to add that to the scene. Uh, Before it used to be easier to add this to the scene, we could just right click and go to XR. So then find XR origin, this XR origin and add it to the scene. But for some reason, it's only as the camera, so you can only look around. You still need to do some setups to the scene, and that could take a while. So we're just going to use a shortcut. So let's delete the main camera. So the XR rig has its own camera for us to look through and see, for the player to look through and see what's in this scene. This is its own camera. So we can just delete the default ones that come with the scene. Of course, they usually conflict if you have multiple cameras in the scene. All right. Let's hope this works now. Okay, so yeah, the link is on now, is live. So if I play this now, let's just wait patiently for Unity to enter play mode. And for those that maybe don't have the headsets like physically with them during this remote phase, there is the OpenXR package that supports this XR simulator that we can use. So without having the physical headsets with the simulator that emulates the movements of the VR headset, so we can use that to navigate in the scene. It's not as smooth as having the headset, but it works. Uh, okay, this is taking forever. I think this isn't going to work. For some reason, like I said, so things always like go wrong. So you just have to be patient and try again. Sometimes it's just trying again and it works. Yeah. Doesn't take this long to enter play mode, so uh, this is not a good sign. Yeah, so let me just call my very good friend, the task manager, to help us close this operation. Yeah, because it's not responding. So we're just going to exit and start on the project again. I can't see the project here. So if for some reason you can't see your project here as well, you can add it from, yeah, so add it from the local storage. So just click on add. Then you go to the location that you save the project in. So this is VR workshop. This is the project folder. I'll select the project folder, then just open. So it appears now. Ensure the correct version is selected when you open the project. So you just have to be a bit comfortable. You just know that things will always some things always go wrong sometimes, and just usually trying again fixes the issue. So don't need to be afraid. Okay, so we are back in the scene. The quest link is still active on the headset. Let's play now. It's still taking forever. Really doesn't want to enter play mode. Okay. So before we try again, just like let's see. Um, I just touch on like how to easily move around in this scene. So the way I prefer to move around in this scene, easily navigate this page is to hold down the right click. So once you hold down the right click, sorry, for just a moment. Yeah. So once you hold down the right click, you're going to see this eye icon appear with the like yeah the the other icon beside this. So you just hold the right click and then use the WASD to move around, just like basic game controls. Then to go up or down, use the Q or E button. Q goes down, E goes up. So like it's really like easy to move around the space that way. So instead of trying to, yeah, I just prefer this way. And if you want to focus on an object, I just press on it and press F. Yeah. All right, so let's try to play the experience again of the world system. Okay, so it's working now. Yeah. So right now is no longer a static um image we are seeing. So we are seeing I'm seeing what's in the plane or Unity inside the set now because it's linked and we have the XR rig in the scene. But that's just all I can do now. So I can look around. I can't move because the rig doesn't have like movement support yet, like locomotion support yet. So it's just the camera which serves as the eyes. But that's all I can do. Great. So this is a great first step. So I'm going to remove this rig and actually add a better one that has the move support. All right. So to get that, I'm going to go back to my package manager. I'm going to go to in projects. So the ones that we've installed, you can see these are now in the project. XR plugin manager, XR interaction toolkit. So under XR interaction toolkit, so they have some samples there, good samples. So the starter assets has some really useful features. So I'll just import the assets from there into the project. So there are other features, but what we need today is the just content in the starter assets. Then you have the XR device simulator. So it's what I mentioned earlier. So you can import it if you don't have a physical headset and try it in your project instead of the physical headset. So there's something to fix in the project validation. So yeah, let's just fix this. Yeah, you can read the instructions to know what exactly it's what is happening. So let's fix so yeah. So we can go on. So the sample, let's look for the samples that we just downloaded. So it's here. So under samples, we have our asset folder. Unity already opened, just went right to the folder for us. So you can see on the left side that it's in asset samples, XR interaction toolkit 3.0.8 starter assets. So let's open the starter assets. You can see there are some things here. So what I'm looking for is the demo scene. So they have their demo scene. Let's see that. So this is their demo scene. The demo scenes have some things already set up. We could just leverage instead of building us from scratch. So we have an XR origin rig here. And this one has, not just the camera, but also locomotion inside. You can test out and use features from this, their demo scene, and also like assets there in your project instead of having to make things from scratch. So you can just adjust the ones here. Let's test this out and see what the basic functionalities that they've implemented here. Okay, let's see if it's coming up. Just a moment. Okay. For some reason, I'm not seeing anything on my headset. I don't know, maybe because I left it alone for too long. Let's see. Um, okay, yeah, can see it now. So I can move around, navigate to the controllers. So yeah, you can see I can move around. Yeah. I can grab objects. So I can grab this. So they have different ways that they've implemented the grab interactive object. This one is kinematic movements. This one is instantaneous. This is velocity tracked. Control. Yeah. So I can just test things out. This emits a particle. Yeah, system. This plays sound. I don't know if you can hear the sound. See, this just increments the number here. All right. So this has some grab interactives as well. So can you can grab these objects anywhere. This is single fixed attach. That's specific points that you can grab it. So maybe you have a like objects in your scene, maybe like a beaker, and you want to grab it in a particular way. You don't want people to be able to grab it upside down. Like can specify that. So if I try to grab it here, it snaps back to the correct place. So that's something you can implement, see how they implemented it here and try in your project. This is dual fixed. So um, okay, so yeah, so that's those are some of the examples you can. This is the UI as well. You can check out more things there. The buttons, yeah. We can always come back here. So I'm going to stop the simulation. So we're back. Yes, so what I need from this thing right now is just this XR rig. This XR rig. I know the XR rig has this interaction manager that helps it keeps track of interactions. So I'm going to copy the two because I want interactions to be possible. So you can copy things from one um, space to another. Okay. All right, so let's just copy what we need from here, the XR origin and then the XR interaction manager. So just Control C, or you can copy. So, and then let's go back to our scene, VR lab, right here, scenes, VR lab. And then, okay, it already has an interaction manager. So, because remember we added the XR rig from this place, and it's already added the interaction manager for us. So we can delete and just paste the new ones. Yeah. So we have the rig in this scene now. So let's play and let's see what we can do. Oh, the headset's disconnected for some reason. I don't know. Let's yeah, let's try to reconnect it. Okay, so let me just add a ground plane here so we are not falling through the ground. So to add some objects, some 3D models here, they are called game objects in Unity. So you can just come here, game objects, different types of game objects, 3D objects, lights, audio, UI as well. So I want to add a 3D object, a plane to serve as the ground. I'll just add it. So we have it here. So let's just call it ground. So so the ground is at this position. Sorry, the ground is at this position. Let me just make it on the 0, 0 level. So I'll just reset the position. I can also press 0, 0, 0 to make it 0. So the position is 0, 0, 0, the origin, and our XR rig is here. All right. The link mode is now fully back. We can see we have more things here in this rig compared to the one that is in the game objects. Yeah. So and locomotion abilities to be able to move, turn, climb, heliports. So we have all those functions as well. It's taking forever to enter into quest link mode. Let's see. This is- it's taking forever. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like we might need to close this process. Yeah. Okay, let me just close this. So once we have this, then we have the basic scene, like the basic setup for VR. The next thing is to get some 3D models into the scene and yeah, and make it look, beautiful. Let's try this again. Hope it works. We're going to test this again, but let's just continue. So let's add some things. Before we test again, let's just add some 3D models to the scene so I can show you how to get your 3D models into Unity. So I mentioned there are some places you could get your 3D models, some websites, one of which is Sketchfab. So you can just check here, Sketchfab. You need to create an account with Sketchfab to be able to use it. So just searching for a space, a lab. Yeah, where's the lab? So I want a downloadable assets. Yeah, I think this was when I used so let's just you can also change this setting licenses so you get free licensing, free 3D models. Then you click on the model. So let's just wait for it to load. Nice. Okay, so I have the 3D model here, the Sci-Fi Lab. So I can download the model. So okay, so for some reason the page isn't responding properly. Let's just go on. I have the models downloaded already. So when you're downloading from Sketchfab, you have your models in different formats. So it could be in FBX, it could be in OBJ, the or it could be even be a Blender file that you would have access to download. Sketchfab does automatic conversion into other formats like um, USD and GLB, GLTF. So Unity doesn't support those ones directly. You could install plugin on Unity to help install those, to help import those kind of assets, or you could take the asset into Blender first, then just re-export as FBX or BJ, which are directly compatible with Unity. So I'll just show you how to do that. So just hold on a second, guys. So hold on, let me get the models. So this, so the lab, I downloaded the USDZ formats, as you can see here. So I just showed the formats so I don't waste time with the websites. So this is the lab in USDZ. So is that you install a, a plugin in Unity, a package that will help you, get this formatting directly, or it just takes to Blender. So I'll be showing you the Blender routes. So you can see, let's create a folder for our 3D models. Let's just do 3D models. Let's put our environment. So you can see if I try to bring this here, like that's the way you import assets. You just can just drag them into the folder here. You can see it's not showing a preview as software capable of reading 3D model is supposed to. So I'll just delete it. So let's open Blender and see how we can do that. How we can convert to USDZ and from USDZ to FBX. So here's Blender. Let me delete the default cube. So just delete. So let me also delete this as well because I don't need the lights and the rest. Now I'm going to import the USDZ file here. I think I can just drag it. I think Blender supports that. Can just drag it. So it's asking me like the import options. So I think the default one works for me. So the textures are packed. The textures are packed inside the model itself. So I just import it the way it is. Importing, and then there you have it. Uh, so this is Blender. Let's go to for those of you that are just new to Blender as well, this is like, it's a bit similar to Unity, but I mentioned like it's still like vastly different. Unity is a game engine, while Blender is a DCC tool. So you can do more manipulation of 3D model, creation of 3D assets in Blender. But Unity focuses on just using those assets, not creating them. Although it has some features that sort of mimics asset creation process, but they are not as developed as the one in Blender. So this is the 3D viewports. Just like in Unity, we have like the scene, which is like the hierarchy in Unity that shows the list of the objects inside the 3D viewport. So Unity's one is on the left. You can rearrange the view as you like as well. And then when you click on an object, you see like more details about it here. You can choose the type of detail you want to see here. So It's just like the inspector panel in Unity. So those are like the key things that I'm just going to focus on. So we don't take too much time. Then we have, let's just switch to this shading, viewport shading, so I can see the texture properly. So it's, yeah, it's taking a while. So here we have the texture. Um, that's okay. Looks like it's loading. So since the texture um is not packed, is packed, I mean, it's not separate. So it's better to unpack the texture, you know, so so that you can export properly. So let's save this Blender file first. Let's save it. So let's just call this the lab.blend. So now I want to unpack the textures first. So that means I want to at least put the textures outside of the USDZ file, so that it's not packed together. So that way Blender can work with them better. So I'll go to File. I go to External Data. So then Unpack Resources. This Unpack Resources, I'll click on it. So it will, all these textures is going to, take them outside. So it's asking for some options. So I'll just click on use files in current directory and create where necessary. So that means it's going to unpack into the current place I saved this Blender file. So, so it has unpacked successfully. So these are the textures now that it's unpacked. Remember, I created the folder assets and then the save the Blender file, then unpacked. When the unpacked, process finished, it's created this folder textures and put all the textures that were used, in the 3D model here. So it's easier to work with them this way. So now that I have that, I can now boldly say I want to export this. So if for any reason you've, clicked somewhere and your model is no longer selected, it's fine. I've already remember I've deleted the camera from the scene and um, the lights as well. So I don't really need to select anything here. Personally, I prefer FBX. OBJ is good. FBX can take animations, OBJ cannot. But I think for what you want to do, you most likely, most of the things you want to do would work well with either like OBJ file formats or FBX file formats. So let's just use those formats instead. So to export, go to File, we'll go to File, then we'll go to Export. So let's click on FBX. You can see these are the formats that Blender supports. Blender support here is the Alembic. Yeah. So FBX, I want to export as FBX. Let's create a folder called exports. Exports. So the key thing to note when exporting as FBX is the way I like to export when exporting for Unity is this way. In the path mode, I change it to copy. So it's going to, and then I leave this icon here means to embed, but like embedding I wouldn't recommend embedding like textures when you're working, with Unity. So you should just leave the textures the way it is and because even if you embed, you still have to extract it back when you take it to Unity. So why embed them in the first place? So is just leave this unchecked. So copy would create a subfolder for all the external files, like the textures. We create a folder for them when it is exporting out. We'll see when the um when the export is done. For now, it's just the mesh I'm exporting. There's assuming you're seeing as camera, I'm not exporting camera, just the mesh. There's no animation here, so I don't need to export the armature. But if you want to, you can select multiple, just hold shift to select multiple things if you have other things that need to be exported. But in this case, I think just mesh is fine. The other settings are okay as well. Another thing is to watch out for when exporting is the scale. So is the scale of the export. So here, Blender uses like meter by default. So for this from here to here, like all these squares on the ground are like 1 meter by 1 meter. So you can sort of assess the heights, um, the size of this lab. All right. All right, but anyways, we can still rescale in Unity if that's an issue, because while exporting from one app to another, the scale can be messed up sometimes. So you may have to import in first and see what you need to adjust. But for our case, let's just export this way. So there's no animation, so there's no need for me to check animation here, just the mesh. If you're not sure, you can just select what you need to export, then limits to selected, and then we can have all these object types turned on if you want. Yeah. So then I'm going to click export. I'm exporting into the export folder, so I'm going to click export. So the export is done now. Let me check the file. So you can see the exports folder. We have this now. So this is the main 3D file. And because I selected copy, that is why it puts all other related things into a separate folder called lab.fbm. That is why it is there. So what's inside this folder is the textures. Those are the additional things. So that is all in this case. So this now is suitable for imports into Unity. So let's go back to Unity. So in our 3D environments, I can disable this plane, this ground. So this is, let me pull up the window. To import, so I can just click and drag. So ensure you grab the two items. So you just click and drag and bring it here. So you can see this info, this message here that says a material is using the texture as a normal map. So you can accept fix now. Just click fix now. So it fixes it. You can see the way the model appears now because Unity can read this FBX. It's showing a preview of the lab. So one thing to do after importing your 3D mobile 3D assets is you click on it, then you see on the inspector, you see this menu. Ensure you go under materials. So you can see there's the extract textures, which is grayed out because our textures are not embedded, so we don't need to extract them. Because if If they are, we will need to extract them to make them editable. So the next thing to do is extract materials. So yeah, let's extract materials. So just click extract materials. So it's asking me for the folder to extract the materials into. So I'll create a new folder and just put lab MAT and then extract the materials in there. So it's going to extract the materials. So you can see it has populated all this with the necessary materials. So yeah, so that's the whole thing about importing the assets. So I can now use these assets in my scene, this 3D asset. So I can just click and drag. I can drag either to the hierarchy or to the 3D view. You can see either one works. So I can just let me just drag it here. So you see. So it's in the hierarchy now. So and it's also in the 3D view. So this is the lab. So let's save as we're going. Um, let's see. This is where our XR rig is. That's the starting point for the player when they start the experience. Let me just adjust the position to be in front of this table. So there are different, tools that you can use to adjust positions. Either you change it here directly, or you can use this gizmo, the move gizmo to adjust. Can change it here. So adjusted the position. So I'm moving around with the right click and WSD QE buttons. So this is it. This, yeah, let's see how the scale. You can check out the scale as you are building. So yeah, the lab looks a bit small. You can see the heights um of the user, of the player. It's like very, very high. I think something around this would be good. So it's better to adjust the size of your 3D models and not the rig, so that just make sure your 3D models are roughly word scale. So I'll just try, yeah, 1.5 and see how that looks. So I've enabled constrained scaling so that they're all scaled equally. So let's check now. Yeah, this looks fair to me. Something like this. Yeah. So it seems fine. Yeah. So what I want to do is I'm going to duplicate the lab. But before I do that, or let me not duplicate the lab now. Let me just unpack it because I'm going to make some edits to the individual components later. Right now it is packed. That's why it has this color. It's a kind of a prefab. So let me unpack it so that I can add, because I know I want to modify the components. That's why the children objects, that's why I'm adjusting, that's why I want to unpack it. So let's just right click on it. I'm unpacking the one in the scene, not the one in my assets folder. So let's go to right click on it, then we'll go to prefab and then we'll do unpack completely. So we've done that. So you can see the icon has changed to a regular object. Let's even test, what we have so far. Let's see if this link works now. Okay. So Yes, to open does. Okay, great. Okay, it's loading the textures. All right. So this um seems like okay. So I can turn around. So I'm able to turn it because we've set up the XR rig. So I can move. But you can see I'm falling down. Yeah. So why am I falling? Okay. Yeah, so we can see I'm falling down. So in like game engines, there are a lot of things you need to set because everything by default doesn't work like that. You have to set the rules of the world you are creating. So we need to add um, something called collider, to the object so that I won't just fall through them. So it knows that, oh, this is something you can collide with as the name implies. So let's do that. So I'm going to add this to all the objects so that they are all that way. So I'll just select all the objects, all the children, then add components. So it's under physics. So these are the components. So in Unity, there are different components that you can add. There are some inbuilt components, like all the ones that are here. This mesh renderer, mesh filter, the transform, they're all like inbuilt components that come with Unity. And the other ones here that you can choose from. Yeah, and you can also add your scripts, the programming stuff that you do as components to the game object so that you can manipulate them. So let's go to physics, then collider. So I'll just add, there are different types of collider. So there are box collider, like just the shape. So because these ones, some of them are irregular shape, I'll just use a mesh collider. Because the collider, it will try to form the collider based on the actual geometry of the object. I'll just add that. Usually, the simple colliders cost less in terms of performance, but just for this example, I'll just add, to simplify things, I'll just add the mesh collider to everything. So everything now has a mesh collider. So if I select one object, I added all the mesh collider to all of them at once. So yeah, let's just select this and see how it looks. So yeah, all of them have the mesh collider. So if we play again, are we going to fall this time as well? So yeah, it's working well now. Okay, so let's try moving. See if we are going to fall. Let's just ensure we stay. Yeah. So I can move around in the space because there's a collider underneath me. But if I move away from this mesh, I'm going to fall. Yeah. Yeah. So if I move back, I'm going to fall. Yeah. So that's how that works. I know you are getting some terminologies now, like the collider. So I'm going to be telling you a bit more so you know what they do and how you can use them. All right, then. Um, the next thing I'm going to do is duplicate this lab. So it's sort of like a closed room. So I'm going to duplicate it, Control D. or you can just right click and duplicate, Control D. So the second one, I'm going to adjust the position. I want to put it right here. Let me adjust the position. So I'm going to rotate it by 180. So I can rotate it here or use this rotation gizmo. Well, let me just do it here. Rotate along Y. Y is this green one. You can see Y here. Okay, let's go back a bit. I want to view it from the top because it should be easy that way. So I'm going to click on this Y, axis, so I can see from the top. And I also changed to isometric view. So by clicking an orthographic view, I mean, by clicking on this, I can click on this center. Yeah, so it's all on this that says stop. So I can adjust the model so that it fits well. I'm holding control, that's why it's snapping. Yeah, something like this, just a rough alignment. Let's click on this X. So can adjust it in the right view as well. Okay, so let's just adjust it more. All right, so let me go back into my perspective view by clicking on the button again. Then I can navigate back into the space. I just try to see how well it fits. So you can see that you can just try to align it properly if you have the time to do so. Like for your work, since I'll just do an approximate thing here so we can see. Let's try 8-9. Okay, 8-9 works. Then 2, 2. Okay, so it seems like this. So let's enter now. So it looks, yeah, a bit closed. No, yeah. So you can easily like reuse assets, just put something together that looks all right. All right, so yeah, we have the objects. So let me show you how to import another asset in a different way. So this time around, I'll import the another object. Let's just some lab tools. Let's go back to Sketchfab and see. Okay, so it's responding now. So I downloaded the USDZ formats on purpose so I could show you how to use USDZ. The original format is actually OBJ, although it's quite heavy, but that would have been easier to import into Unity directly. Just as a sample, OBJ is fine. Yeah. So let's use another uh, objects. Let's just do some lab tools, some chemistry lab tools. Like this one, chemistry glassware. So I've downloaded it as well, so I'm not going to yeah, download it again. So I'll just show you. You can see sometimes you might need to do a bit of tweaking in Blender more than we did. The last time we didn't do anything. We just unpacked the materials and then exported. This time around, we'll see how this model looks. So this time around here, the person that gave us this model gave us the blend file. That's the Blender file as the original format. So we can modify that a bit. You can also download these ones, but because I want to show you uh, how to use Blender more, so I'm going to just show you the blend file, how to use that instead. Um, yeah. So I've downloaded it, so I'm not going to download it again. So let's just go back to this folder where I downloaded it. So what's the okay. So I have the chemistry glassware. I have it here. I have the source. Like when I downloaded it, I had only these two folders. So I've done a try export here just to so I could show you in the demo on Tuesday. So I have the exports here. So I have the source and the textures as the files that I downloaded. So this is the source. So let's open this. So it should open up in Blender just nicely. Let me close the previous one. So this is it. So yeah, I think this person used an earlier version of Blender, so the interface is a bit different. So, but you can add the normal layout view here. You click on to go to the layout view that we all know and love. I can click on this plus icon here and go to general and add the layout. So yeah, here's to familiar faces. Um, these are the objects. Let me just focus on one of them by pressing the dots on the numpad. Yeah, or you can just do view frame selected. All right, so these are the objects. Um, so I want to export them each as a separate object. No, we exported that lab as just one mesh. For this one, we need it as separate so that the person can grab it easily, So they're not just grabbing everything at once. So let's just see, let's even see how it looks in the shaded view. Okay, so this is how it looks in the shaded view. So sometimes the texture might look weird. Would see if there's a way to fix that. So it's giving me a notification here. Go to setting preferences, system shader compilation method to sub process. Let's try that. System. So the shader compilation, let's change it to sub processes. Hopefully that. So we can see, yeah, that it doesn't have the, okay, that's yeah. Okay, so let's try to export and take this into Unity and see how it looks. Let's just try one of them. Let's try this beaker and see how it looks in Unity. So I have it selected. I go to File, Export. I want to export as FBX. So yeah, I'm going to limit to selected objects because I only want one. I don't want to export other things like camera and all. So let me just choose the mesh. Because this one also doesn't have an animation or disable animation. The path mode, copy just the way we did the last one. Then I'll change the name to, let's do BKA. And then we'll save. We'll save in the folder that we want to. So I can save in this folder that I exported to earlier. So BKA, then exports. So I think the export is done. Let's go back to Unity and export it. So it's good to, as you add things to your projects, it's good to um, organize your work properly. So I'm going to add the beaker. Yeah, just hold on, please. Okay, so yeah, so I'll just add the beaker here. I'm rounding up now because we've gone over the time. I'll probably be able to show you guys just a few things that yeah, that will help you in your projects. So let's just add that. So hold on. But yeah, let's just, this is not part of the environment. Let me just cut this out of here and create a separate props folder. The same process that we did before, extracts materials. So I'll just create the, so if we drag this here into the scene and focus on it, it doesn't have the transparency thing. So uh, so to fix that, we have to like go to the materials that we extracted, go to the mats, select the bigger material, and then change it from opaque to transparent. So if we have not extracted the materials, we won't be able to edit it like this. So that's important. So you can see now it's transparent. All right, so the final thing we are going to add is to make this, let me duplicate this beaker so you can see something. So I want to make this object grabbable in yeah, so this is the final thing we're doing. I want to make it grabbable in VR. So to make it grabbable by default, I won't be able to grab it, but to make it grabbable, I need to add one of the components, actually scripts that XR Interaction Toolkit has made available to us. So if I select this, I can add, let me add the, uh, it's called the grab interactable, the grab. XR grab interactable. So it's a script under the XR interaction toolkit. So I just add it. All right. So once I do that, so let's test this. Let's test this and see if we're able to grab it or not. Okay, so one of the Beaker fell down. So that is the one we added the Grab interactable to. And I'll tell you why it fell down in a moment. We can't grab it, so if I try to grab it, I'm not able to do so because we didn't make it grabbable. So I think you can guess, why the Beaker fell because it doesn't have a collider on it. So let's just add a mesh collider to it. No, you can add a capsule collider, whichever one works, but let's just add yeah, this collider. Uh, okay, it's still falling through. Uh, so it's still falling through for some reason. Let's see. Why is that? Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so there's an error. Um, just There's an error. So mesh colliders are not supported when using dynamic rigid body. So like we need to change the type of collider that we have here. So let's just quickly do that and then call it a day. So let's remove this mesh collider and add another type of collider that can work in this case. Let's try this capsule collider. So yeah, I think this is fine. So I read the error message on the console. Like I mentioned, the console provides you information about, yeah, so you can read more, or we could actually change the type of mesh collider to a convex collider. But either ways, let's just test this. All right, so you can see I'm able to grab this, although like the grab position, we could fix that, but this is not grabbable. As you can see, I'm pressing the grab button, but because it doesn't have grab interactable, we can't grab it. So those are some of the things that you can implement when building your own projects. So I hope you guys have been able to, pick up a thing or two that could help you in your development processes. So this is the end of, the workshop today. Yeah, so happy building, guys. Thank you.
Oh, please, I
Hello,
have a question.
can I ask you? I'm sorry.
Hello.
Please, I don't have a headset nor a Quest. Is it possible to do it to do the app without that? Like
Yes, you can use the XR simulator, the one I showed in the
simulator, how we do it? How
yeah.
we
So
can
yeah. So the time is spent on this workshop session. So I won't be able to show you how to implement that, but you can add the package from the XR Interaction Toolkit samples. So you could just go to
Oh,
Windows
oh,
Package
okay.
Manager and yeah.
Yeah, sorry to cut you short. If it's not going to take more than 5 minutes, you can just quickly explain it to them so everybody can get an idea of what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. So this is the XR Interaction Toolkit, and you have the XR simulator, XR device simulator here. So you can add it, you can import it into your project. Yeah, so it is right here. So Unity is highlighting it for us to see. Let's just close it. Let's open. Okay, yeah. Unity is compiling. All right. So this is the simulator prefab. Let's just add that to the scene. So let me try to check. It's been a while since I've used this simulator, so I can I'm trying to see if there's a guide that you guys can follow to know the controls. But let's just test the scene again and see. Yeah, let me disconnect the headsets. Okay, so I'm able to move with my mouse because the emulator is enabled. If the emulator, the simulator were not enabled, I won't be able to do this. But because I've added the simulator now, I can look around with the mouse. So I can use the WSD. You can see I'm able to move around with WSD. I'm not using the headset. I've disconnected the headset. So this is the WSD. Yeah, so so you can use each individual controllers. I can't remember the controls now. You may have to search online. Let's see. This space. Yeah, okay. You can use while holding space, you can use it to control the space, and WSD controls the right thumbstick. So you can see yeah, you can use it to teleport and or to turn around. I'm using it to turn around on the spot. Let's see. Yeah, so if so still the same thing. Yeah, so you might have to like check online to be able to see the yeah, to be able to see how to use the various controls. I can't remember all of them right now. Let's see, let me see if they okay. They have a window that actually says the controls now. So to be able to use the controller, you can toggle between the top controller using the T and Y. I think I pressed the T. That's why. So uh, I'm pressing T right now. I press T, so I'm able to use the left controller. I press T again, it goes back to the default settings. I press Y, I'm using the Y right controller, and press Y again. So it takes a bit of just a slight learning and playing around with the controls to figure out how to properly move with the simulator. So without the XR, the headset, you can still try out the scene and um, still test things out on your end. So that's it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, I have a question. Sorry, can you hear me?
Okay.
Sorry, I
Sorry,
have a
if you
question.
have a
Can you hear me?
question, yeah, I understand it. I can hear you. If you have a
All right.
question, the
So,
right step is to press a reaction first before you have been given the permission to speak. Is that okay?
apologies. Yes, sir.
Okay, so go ahead with your question. All right.
All
Okay,
right. Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah.
Moses.
So, I wanted to ask here for like an artist, why go with like other DCC applications or software like Autodesk Maya?
Yeah.
Since you can do like the exporting, OBJ and everything like pretty well, is the pipeline still the same, or is there like a need to export to Blender and then take to Unity, or Maya to Unity works like very very well and it's like pretty well compatible?
Yes, so if you're already using other DCCs, you can just export to the right format. So like you can export directly um into Unity. You can just take the files that you export from those softwares, either FBX from either Maya or whichever software, and take them into Unity directly. So they'll work just fine. You don't need to go through Blender. Blender, like Maya, is a DCC, so it can exports properly for Unity. You don't need to go through Blender if you are using another DCC by yourself. Just exports in the format that is compatible with Unity, which is mostly the FBX, OBJ. You can still use some other formats, but Unity doesn't support them directly. You might need to install a plugin uh, through the package manager or other means to be able to import those 3D assets directly into Unity. Like the USD file now, we couldn't import it directly into Unity. Or we can, but it won't work as a 3D file because Unity can't read it by itself. So you just ensure you export in the correct formats that Unity can read, or you find like plugins that can help Unity reach those files and then um, import as those files. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. Any other question?
Okay, so we'll be taking two last questions. I can see Christian, Daisy, and previously, Moses, you have your hand raised up. So we're taking just two questions now. So Moses, yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I really enjoyed the process, though this is my first time of seeing this Blender interface. So, yeah, I want to ask, please, I'm asking for myself and maybe a fellow colleague that is here also, if there is a learning platform I can use to guide myself, even as I will be watching this record. Do you have web any YouTube site that you know deals with Blender interface, introduction, and getting myself acquainted with it? Thank you.
Yes. All right. Thank you for the question. So, we have Blender and you want to learn how to use Blender. I don't have a particular channel that I can recommend. And the reason is because like Blender is a very vast tool which you can use to do numerous things. So I wouldn't recommend going for the approach of learning the software. It's about first figuring out what you want to do inside the software, then finding the appropriate tutorials for that. So if it's that you want to learn how to export into Unity, for instance, export assets from Blender into Unity, search YouTube for a tutorial on that. So
Yes.
you get something that is more valuable to you. Because if you say Blender, there are different aspects of Blender that might not help in what you want to do, during this hackathon. So it's just about searching for the thing you want to do in Blender and finding the appropriate tutorial for that. So if it's how to, maybe for example, you are using an animation with your model that you want to use in Unity. So say how to export with animation from Blender to Unity, that would help you. So it's just about searching for the specific thing that you want to learn about. But if it's just an introductory, even an introductory course, like you guys have really limited time. So yeah, the introductory tutorials too can be a bit long since they touch on like different aspects. So I'll just recommend only like searching for the key things that you
Blending
want
now.
to do and then checking YouTube for that. That would help streamline your learning because Blender, Unity, they're very vast tools and it can take forever to learn them. Right. Did I answer your question?
45, keep decreasing because we exhausted the time already. Apologies, I didn't know my mic was on mute. So, okay, Abimbola. So
Yeah.
there is one more question, Abi. I think we are good to
Yeah.
go then.
Oh, okay. Or is there another question?
So,
Oh, yeah, I think we are
okay.
good. We're good.
Yeah, you're good to go. So For everyone that participated, thanks for coming, and every other person that feels like there are few things Abimbola didn't touch on. Just stay tuned. The class continues on Monday. We'll be teaching you personally. We'll focus more on Blender, and part of the class will also focus on Unity. Then also on Monday, we'll talk about the several AI tools you can leverage on. We'll talk about several AI tools you can leverage on to speed run your process regarding model generation, script writing, and the likes, and maybe idea brainstorming. So, because we also know that we have limited time to put everything together, and going by the title of the hackathon itself says X and AI. So AI is also part of what you can use to leverage your thing. Well, where AI comes in, AI hasn't gotten there yet. So how you use it matters, and it can help, while it can even make your work more tedious and difficult. So we will be here on Monday to put you through how everything will go. Tomorrow basically is for panel session and presentation. I hope you guys are ready for that. Then earlier on, I made an announcement that for every international student participating with us, wherever you are, reach out to me. So I've created a document where I'm going to be sharing right across the chat section of this thing right now, of this meeting. So just you can what you can do with the form is to what you can do with the form is to register your name. So it's already there. Name, team, country, mail, and skill set. So the sooner we get your information, the faster we can work on every plan we have for you. So yeah, after that, then also, if you all check your Discord channel, you would see the snapshot of everything we've taken, the attendance and likes. No, we know we keep telling you attendance matters, and on a good day, because this meeting has exceeded its normal time, attendance is supposed to be taken live during this call. So because we have exhausted our time, it's only polite to call out an attendance when we've already exhausted the given time we promised. So we'll pardon that today, but tomorrow we'll be taking live attendance as well, even with screenshots. So once again, let's reach out to the mentors if you have any problem. If you are not yet in the team, reach out to the mentors. Today is the last chance you have. Then special thanks to Abimbola for giving us this superb and wonderful tutorial. I mean, he was able to cover a lot of things, and he was able to cover up a lot of things and give us an impactful training. Even myself, I was able to learn a few things from him. I mean, a few tricks, yeah. So, uh, before we round up this session, we would like to give a special shout out to the sponsors for making this event possible. So the names goes on, like we have Imisi 3D. Abibola is the staff from Imisi 3D himself. So we also have Chip. We have Infofocus here. IGH, the major sponsor of the event also. So special regards to Vita 2 for sponsoring this event. And we have Vita Construction Company also contributed to this event. So, and then we have ISN. ISN is also a major contributor to these activities going on. We have Red Leaf, and we have Inkaba, Bio Inkaba. So yeah, regards to every one of them. Thank you so much for sponsoring this event. Without them, we won't be here. And I hope you've all learned a lot of things, and this session was impactful. So we meet tomorrow. Remember to come up on time and complete your task. So with this, I'll say good day, everyone. Have a wonderful time.